Where are we heading, Mum?
We're heading to the Windmill. Don't know much about it at the moment, but we saw a sign in the Crofton pumping station yesterday, and it's only opened, I think, Easter to end of September, 2 till 5 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're off
On
to
a
go and
Sunday.
see it, and we're going to go and buy some wholemeal flour, hopefully.
Yeah. It's about a mile up here.
Yeah.
Only opens at 2 o'clock on Sundays till about 5 o'clock. It's only a mile, but no one told me there's a steep bloody hill. Almost at the top now anyway. So it's a lovely view up here though.
Oh, look at that.
Beautiful area this is. You can see the windmill now, guys. Just over there. Going right over this hill. Wildflower meadow for butterflies. Most of Britain was covered in these. Yeah. Well, the river's like, Thames is 50% lower now than it was 100 years ago. Yeah, I have got a bit of rust on them.
Wilton wide waters, isn't it?
I don't know. It's not even a private lane, you could take a four-wheel drive up here, guys.
Remember that 1.91 there?
Wilton down there, that'd be a little village. Gonna walk up here there to the Wilton Windmill. There's a queue here, like you're getting back in there. Lovely little cottages. Out on the top of the roof there, the horns. So it's only a mile, but we've walked up a hill, steep hill, walked down a steep hill, and now we've got to walk back up another steep hill. It's very hilly around here, look. Oh, beautiful area there. We made it.
19th century milling knife.
There's wasps and bees everywhere there. We're after this. See these flowers? There you go.
This site is open at all times. The mill shop opens for all measurements Sundays and bank holiday Mondays from 2 to 5.
I was just looking at these type of mushroom stones that they used to use with a cap on the top, and they used it on grain storage areas. The rats can climb up the stone, but they can't get themselves around the last bit to get into the grain. And they used to build ricks on this, ricks as in hay ricks and straw ricks, to keep the farm running for feed through the winter, and the rats couldn't get into the hay. Here's how it works. Quite a complex little design, really. Harnessing the power of wind. Brilliant. Did you hear that? Yeah. Yeah, sorts the chaff.
Winnower.
Sorts out the chaff.
Ah. Isn't it?
Oh. Oh yes. What does that remind me of? Tony.
For horseshoes, as a backup for a thrown steel horseshoe when a farrier is not available.
Wilton Windmill is the only working windmill in Wessex, and it was built in 1821 by the same bricklayers who built the canal. The whole reason it exists is because of the Kennet and Avon Canal, which made the 5 watermills along the Kennet redundant. And this was about the peak of windmill design, and so it had a rotatable 14-ton cap which allows it to move thanks to the fantail. And it was abandoned in the 1920s, but after about 50 years, in 1972, restoration began and was finished in 1976. And it's been making flour ever since. Go, Dad. It tells you what year Queen Elizabeth II's coronation. Wow. Tells you what year they were. Wilton Windmill built. It's a sapling. Well, again, it's not running like the steam engine isn't running. It's got a big tap. Yeah.
It's got interesting relation.
Big beam. Oh yeah, I love the sideburns. Yeah.
It's got two different kinds of sails, if you look carefully. The ones at 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock have got canvas on, like a ship's sail. And they're called the common sails, and they're the main driver. When we mill, we bring the sail around the bottom with a big pole, climb up that ladder and unfurl it like a curtain from right to left. Quite heavy on sails. They're pattern sails because you can see they've got louvers on them. And the louvers are controlled by there's a wrought iron metalwork in the middle with a rod right at the very middle, and that goes backwards and forwards, operated by chains from the back. And that opens and shutters, opens and closes the shutters. So that's a really fine adjustment. So when we're milling, it's like being on the main sheet of a boat. You're just opening and closing. If there's a gust, you open it. If the wind drops, you close it. To try and keep the wind fairly, keep the sails going around fairly regularly. We lost a bolt. One of the bolts, there's a big beam. You can see behind the sails. There's a big beam. It's called the cross. Yeah. And then we bolt the sails to it. We lost a bolt out of this one, so we had to put a strap on it until we could get it fixed. The mill was opened in 1821, so last year was our 200th anniversary.
Those cogs.
It'd be a nice place to live, wouldn't it, the Windmill?
Yeah,
Living in a lighthouse.
I'd like it.
There's it, Mum's sun deck out there. Stop saying that, just
for us milling today.
Green
And
bin.
doing that, the loop of that string, you can see it tighten.
Yes, I understand that.
I've got the weight.
At the top of the windmill now. All this mechanism here, they can turn it round.
Yeah, it turns itself in the wind when you take the brake off.
Oh, yeah.
Drives this huge bit axle here, which is on bearings, hence the buckets because we've got loads of grease on them. And that drives, this is what we call the brake wheel. And it's called the brake wheel because there's a lump of wood. You see where the little blue mouse is? I hope the girls found the mouse. Oh. And it's a really high-tech brake. That beam is at the end of a rope, and it's on a click open, click shut basis. You pull it once and it's clicked open, and that beam raises about 8 inches, and it doesn't. It's not in the way of the brake wheel. Then with this gravity, we pull the rope and it drops down, just like the chock underneath an aeroplane's wheel. It just blocks the wheel from going round. So that's why it's called the brake wheel. All these bits of wood here, these cogs here, are made of wood. These ones here. This one isn't. This is the wheelhouse. This is the chap founded this one. I met a chap yesterday on the way to a rugby match in Swindon. He said, I founded that's called a dabbler. His company made this wheel. It's amazing. But these ones here are made of wood. And the reason for that is if there's a huge gust of wind whilst we're milling, and it's so fast that it might damage the whole mechanism, these would shatter.
Yeah.
It'd be an expensive job to replace them, but it's a safety mechanism really. But it's quite something when this thing's whizzing round. It's a shame it's all blocked off, but it's there it is. What tends to happen when the wind is blowing is, I don't know whether you realise, but this whole cap rotates.
Yeah, you can see that.
It's on little wheels, just there. And at the back is the thing called the fantail. So if the wind changes direction, the fantail whizzes round, and it drives. You can just see the little cog turning tiny bit there, at the back, through the gap there, and up there. And that is adjusting the cap by literally millimetres at a time, so that the sails are always head to wind. Can you go round now? That's the cap turning round. So all this mechanism, which weighs 14 tons, is turning round. It's incredible, really.
Yeah.
Quite incredible.
So it's not locked. It's not locked as we speak.
No.
Oh, right. It's a big clutch.
That's the clutch, and this rope goes all the way down to the front door, and it's controlled by that rope. So what we do is we put the hook onto the crane, pull the rope downstairs. We're whizzing around now. We're entering them up, and it goes. If you look very carefully, look at the little wheels. You can see it going around ever so slowly. It's going anti-clockwise, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've got a little. So all of this.
The whole thing is spinning around. As if by magic.
You can see it moving.
It's magical, isn't it? It's quite incredible.
We're not moving.
It feels like you're moving as well, doesn't it? It's just
It's like being on a train and the airplane leaves. Wishing now like that now. This is
In the wind.
the wind change. The wind change by about 5 degrees. So and this girl is about to be relieved because these two are staying here now to do the work. All she would do, the problem with milling is that you can only mill when the wind blows. So if the wind hasn't blown for 3-4 weeks, there's a great backlog of grain to be milled. And so when the wind does blow, the poor miller had to work 24/7 to get through the work, really. And his family were employed to be up here, receiving the sacks, opening them and pouring them into this here. This is the bin store. This is the top of the whole process. Grain goes in here, and if you go down to the stones, which you'll see on the next floor. So when the mill is going, this thing is whizzing around, this column here, because that's the drive from the sails right down to the stones. So it goes down a bit and then across with the cogs and back up. The bottom stone is static, it doesn't move at all. It sits there. The top stone, or the running stone, sits on this thing here, okay? And so this is spinning round, this is like a record player really, and the top stone sits on it, and that is in here. Here. This is the top stone here, that one there, and it's whizzing round about 120 times a minute, about twice a second. So it's pretty quick. And that weighs a ton.
Literally.
And the bottom stone is slightly convex, and the top stone is slightly concave. And so, as it spins round by centrifugal force, the grain goes in the middle, spins it round, cuts these blades, cut the flour into flour, and the top stone has a little brush that whizzes around with it. And as the flour comes out of the sides, like it is over there, it brushes it down a hole, down the spout, which is, you see in the next floor. So, grain comes down here, the spout, into here, and if this hopper gets empty, it's really rather clever really, this strap becomes loose, it loosens this string, and this bell just drops onto these cogs. So, when the bell rings, it means that the hopper is empty. It's quite clever, I would think. Just a bit of this amazing machine is driven by bits of string. And we can control this here. The shoe, as the millstone goes around, it does that. It goes clack 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 clack, and that like a shot shaker, it shakes the grain into the middle of the stone. And this bit of string here, we can adjust the height down or up, from downstairs. Another bit of string. Below it, more grain goes in. If we raise it up, less grain goes in. And it's called a downhill because it chatters. So it's a bit sexist in this day and age. That's what it's called. And we used to have, you can have two stones. This one is made of French limestone, which is for human consumption of flour. That's made of millstone grit. Bits would come off it, and that was used for milling grain into animal feed. So lower quality grain will be used there. But we don't use that one anymore, just this one. But we can adjust the height, and I'll explain that from downstairs, by millimetres, the height of this thing here. So we can make sure that the stones are at the right distance apart. Too far apart, the grain isn't milled enough, so it's too coarse. Too close together, it starts to burn. So you've got to get that fine balance, which isn't easy, but that's what milling's all about. All this comes off, this whole mounting, and so every year, at the beginning of the season and the end, we take it off and brush out all the flour, because you can't get it out otherwise. And that's to stop it from moulding. We have lots of moss, or we used to have lots of moss. So but this is stuff called tansy, which is a herb that the moss don't like, so we cook it with that. But when we take this mounting off, we put one of these two stones, these two pins, pin like this on either side of the top stone, and then we take this bit of kit here, which is really this being most really. You get used to it. But you put these on either side with these pins. You with me so far? And then we can turn this, and we can raise up the stone, turn it round like a davit on a lifeboat, twist, and we can just tilt it open, so we can clean it. Or if needs be, we can take it over that trapdoor there. We take the whole floor out and lower the whole stone down to the ground. So again, one person can lift up a ton of weight and clean it, which is fantastic. Really, I think it's amazing. And he's constantly sniffing the flour to make sure it's not burning, and feeding it to make sure that it's not too coarse. And if it's one or the other, then he has to do something about it. And the main task is to either put the stones closer together if it's too coarse, or set them apart if it's starting to burn. And he can do that with this. This whole mechanism here can be adjusted up or down, and that controls the height of this, which is the top stone. This is the mounting on which the top stone sits. So we can adjust the height of the top stone literally by millimetres. So it weighs hundreds of tons, this thing, but we can adjust it really, really closely. And so one more.
Yeah, just stick your head through the hatch and there's no room up there.
Well,
There's no hatch,
he's
stick your head through it.
going for the world record. That's the twist peg. That's the one I told you about that controls the height of the hopper. So we can put more grain in or less grain into there. That controls that. This controls the height of the stones. And you can't listen because you're doing it all again in a minute. And so this is like the cockpit of the whole mill really. It just sits here and adjusts all these various things. And there are two other controls which you'll see when we go out the outside. One is the chain which controls the pattern sails. We can open and close those. And the other is the wood, you won't see it but it's there, is the rope we can put the brake on. We pull the brake and the whole shebang in one hit. There's one clever bit of kit here, which is an innovation from the quite late on really. This rope here is on the main drive. So this is when we're milling, this is whizzing round. And if there's a gust of wind, by centrifugal force these get pulled out. And that raises the bar up there. So it's a bit like, imagine some simple, if there's a gust of wind, it just raises it by a couple of millimetres to stop the grain from burning. And then when the gust has gone by, it drops back and it goes back to where we were before. So it's like a little safety mechanism that just protects the stones from gusts of wind. I've just closed it now, all closed. And then if the wind gets much stronger, then I just so that's the way it works. So when I'm milling, I'm putting this just here, just juggling the pattern sails to the rest of it. So that's the control of the sails, and then I have got this bit of rope and I pull it and I bring that beam up and it's open. Pull it again and then start down again. There it is, whizzing round again. So if you look carefully, you'll see the whole thing moving. You see it's moving away from us now. If you look compared with that window frame there, it's about to touch the middle bit. It's incredible. And there's Mr. Gale. I think it's lovely. The first miller was called Gale. I think it's just wonderful. Perfect. So that's our mill. Stay here and have a look round, look at the view, and go down when you're ready.
Oh, here she comes. They haven't got very good eyesight, pigs, so they can smell and hear very well. Hey, baby. She smells us. She thinks, don't recognise them.
Oh, what is that?
Hello, girl. Want a scratch? She likes Diane. Moving towards Diane very subtly. Look. Hello, girl. I bet you've got a lovely name, haven't you? You've got a cool name. And some grass. Hello. What you smooth its nut. Scratch its ears.
No, I just want my grass. I just want my nice grass.
Yeah.
It's coming over.
Yes. Hello, darling. Be careful because sometimes they can bite. Hey, darling. Hello, you having a good sniff of us? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're having a good sniff.
So originally I was going to put this in the next video, but it ended up being way too long. So I'm just going to make this into its own separate video now. So I hope you all enjoyed, and please like and subscribe. Don't forget to stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.